Hey fellow Star Wars fans, it's Red Leader 1 here and welcome to another Star Wars YouTube video. Today I wanted to go through some of my new books I've got in my collection, some of the new Canon books. I never followed the expanded universe when they were out. I probably read a couple of the books, but I never really got into it because there was just so many, and by the time I even decided I wanted to start reading those books, there was just so many and I just didn't know where to start from. But since Disney brought Star Wars, had the rights for it, and pretty much changed the old canon to legacy, and then started a fresh start in the Star Wars universe, even towards the new canon books and stuff. I wanted to make sure this time I actually kept up. So I've pretty much got most of the books. I think there's Disciples that I still need to chase up, but here are some of the books I've already got. I've read most of them and I've started reading some of them, so I just wanted to go through some of them. I would love to get my hands on some of the comics, but as I live in a regional town, I'm not too sure where I can actually even order them online unless I actually go to the city, into the main part of the city, and actually find a comic store. But I have picked up a couple of the comics, and it's really good. I just like the idea of the new canon. They're starting fresh, Disney, with Star Wars, and you know they can use ideas from the old expanded universe for this new canon line of Star Wars. So I'll go through some of the books. The first one here is Tarkin, and this is one of the first books I actually picked up and started reading. It's set about 5 years after the Revenge of the Sith, and it's mainly a story about Tarkin and a bit of a backstory about him and what he's up to at this period of time and what they're constructing. At this time, Darth Vader and Tarkin, I guess this is their first time they're officially on a mission together, and you know, you get a kind of a backstory how Tarkin is, I don't know if you say good friends with Darth Vader, but have that respect with each other, which you would see in New Hope on the Death Star. So that's a really good book. I really enjoy that, and it's got lots of mentions of the old Clone Wars and some of the battles, and you know, he kind of has a feeling who Darth Vader might be and stuff like that. So it's a very good book. I really enjoyed it. So the next one I did pick up was Heir to the Jedi. I was really excited about, especially the cover on this, to read a book on Luke, and this is set after A New Hope, after he destroyed the Death Star, and I didn't really enjoy it as much. I found it really hard to read. I'm not much of a reader, but when I get a book like Tarkin and some of the others, I can't put it down, and I pretty much got to read it and try and finish it as soon as I can. Heir to the Jedi was one where it took me a little while to finish, so but I pushed through it and got it. So basically, this is set up for New Hope, and it's a better, you know, just a story about Luke and how he's, you know, how he acts after what happened in New Hope and the destruction of the Death Star, and he's out on a little mission on his own, and just to learn about himself. Because basically, since Obi-Wan Kenobi has died, there's no one really around for him to teach him how to be a Jedi, so he's just out there trying to learn stuff himself and that. So it wasn't too bad, but I found it really hard to read. And the next one I picked up was pretty cool. I really love the cover art on this with the AT-ATs and Darth Vader and Insidious. Lords of the Sith was, yeah, really good. This is set, I think it's 3 years after Revenge of the Sith, and it's a conspiracy about Vader and the Emperor being set up to be assassinated, but they kind of know this is happening. It's pretty much to draw out some of the resistance or the rebellion. This is probably the start of the rebellion, not the official one, but the fighting against the Empire. Full of action. The first chapter was pretty cool, especially about Darth Vader. Really shows how menacing and how strong he is, especially, you know, the battle in his starfighter with the rest of the clones. and stuff like that. Really good book, and like I said, I really love the cover art for this. Really cool. So Lords of the Sith, I really enjoyed. And the next one I picked up was A New Dawn. So this is set just before the Rebels TV series. I'm not quite sure how far before, but this is when I guess Canon and probably forgot the name, Heir. I think this is when they first meet up. So I've kind of started reading it. Just haven't had the time to read this one. And like I said, if it's a good book, I'll try and read it straight up. But yeah, I haven't really gotten into this one yet. So eventually I'll read it. So I like the cover art on this one too. It's pretty cool. So that's Star Wars: A New Dawn. And the next one, I had to get this. I wasn't too sure about this, but after watching Jedi Cancel, I think it's Kristen. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he really recommended reading this book. This is supposed to be a young adult's book, but I tell you what, it's fantastic. I would say at the moment this is probably my favourite out of the books. Basically, it's it's kind of a love story, but it's not. It's full of action in that. It's about two people who grew up together, and they start off fighting for the Empire, join the Empire. Then one of them goes, "No, I'm not fighting for this mob," and ends up fighting for the rebellion. It sets up a few years after Revenge of the Sith, or what is it, the Empire Day. And it follows them all the way up to Jakku, the Battle of Jakku. So it's a really good book. I enjoyed it, and it's behind it seems to. That's what I love about this new canon now. When you watch the movies, you have this different view of the movies now because you know what's happening in the background and stuff like this. So this is the same with this. So it's more of the Empire side of the battle. Goes through to Battle of Yavin, the Battle of Hoth, Battle of Endor, and then Battle of Jakku. And it's just, this, like, for one instance, there's the parts in there about the TIE fighters that are chasing the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back in the asteroid field and stuff like that, or the people who died on the Death Star. You find about the people some of the people on the Death Star and all that. Like some of the people who join the Empire thinking the Empire are the right, and are not doing nothing wrong, and the rebels are the bad guys. But it's a really good book, so I really recommend getting Lost Stars. Pretty thick one. It took me probably 2.5 days to read that. That was one I couldn't put down. The next book I did pick up, and this was picked up last week, is called Aftermath. Now this is set straight after the Battle of Endor. I've kind of started reading it. A lot of people, what I've heard is that they never really enjoyed it. It was pretty hard to read, and I kind of felt the same when I started it. So this will probably be one, but it's very interesting because I want to know what happened after Endor and that. So I'll push myself through this one to read. But this one's going to go on back burner at the moment because this one I only picked up the other day. So yesterday exactly. Star Wars Battlefront Twilight Company. So it's based on the game, but it's actually a story about a company for the rebellion who are fighting the Empire. So it's like a real war book. And what I've read so far is it's pretty cool. And I just love the cover art of this. That looks so cool. I love it. And on the back there, look at that. Freaking awesome. So I've only just started reading this one. And like I said, that one's just gone on the back burner at the moment. So they're the books I've got. There's only one other, I think, Disciple. And if I can get my hands on any of the comics, that'll be good. So it's really good because, like I said, since they've wiped the slate clean and started refresh with the canon and that, I want to be a part of it and read it and keep up to date to know what's happening behind the scenes. What's from the movies and that. So Tarkin, Heir of the Jedi, Lords of the Sith. I love that cover as well, and Lost Stars, and these ones here. So Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you're reading any of these books or you're going to. And that'll be interesting. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'm Red Leader 1 and may the Force be with you. God, I love that cover. Looks so cool.